Okay guys, today we're going to be tier ranking every book that I've ever read, and when I say ever, I mean probably in the past 3 or 4 years, ever since I started kind of reading again in my adult age. I thought this was a great idea for my channel because you guys don't know my taste in books yet, since I obviously haven't been filming and posting for the past few years when I've been reading. So this will literally show you every book I've read. So you will get my favorite books, my least favorite books, all my opinions. This is a perfect way to get to know my personal taste in books. Okay, I am so excited. I spent so much time just literally inputting every single book I read into this tier ranking list. I totally forgot to do that before recording this video. So it looks like there are 175 books imported. I'm doing every book I've read since 2020 until the end of January. So none of the books I've been reading in February. Rapid fire round. I am not going to elaborate on every single book because then that would take probably like 20 hours. So I'm gonna explain the different tiers really quick. I did make this template myself. I just kind of pulled different tiers from different videos of the ones that I like the best. First tier, would sell my soul to read for the first time again. God tier books, literally 10 stars, absolutely obsessed with these books. Next ranking is 5-star reads, so not God tier, but 5 stars, absolutely loved. Next one is solid but not crack, so really good books. I really like them, they just didn't get that 5-star feeling. Next is fun while it lasted, so probably average books would recommend to you depending on who you are. I had fun while I read it. Next here is This Was the Old Me. So since we are literally going back to like 2020 books, there's probably going to be quite a few in this category. Probably books I read or enjoyed way back when, because that was the old me. Next is I Feel Nothing. So books that I literally forgot that I read, don't remember the plot, or I literally just feel nothing towards. And then last tier being Criminal. My 1 to 2 star reads, absolutely hated these books. Okay, let's dive in. I am so excited. By the way, the book order is no particular order at all. I think the website totally randomized it, so let's start off with Archer's Voice. Archer's Voice, solid but not crack. I really like this one. I thought it was fun. 1,000 Boy Kisses. This was the old me. Yeah. I don't think I'm a fan of YA romance, to be totally honest with you. Icebreaker. I want to say fun while it lasted, I guess. This was so hyped up on Book Talk. The spice was good. Plot was really boring. I'm not totally sure if I'm a fan of sports romance just yet. If He Had Been With Me, I want to say this was old me. I also kind of want to say Criminal, unpopular opinion. I'll say this was the old me. Everyone said that they sobbed by it, and I think I like made myself sob because I wanted to be one of those people so bad. But it just was predictable, I guess. It was also like young adult, and I really don't think I'm a fan of young adult books. I am learning, so that was the old me. Bride by Ali Hazelwood, solid but not crack. Loved. Would have been a 5-star if it was not for the knotting. Enough said there. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Gave me the ick. It's just, I'm not a fan of it. Have I told you this already? Fun While It Lasted. I read that because I was going to see Lauren Graham on her book tour, so obviously I needed to read her book before going on that, and that one's really specific to why I read that, so it was fun. Love Lauren Graham, so it was really cool to listen to her narrate the book on Audible. Loved it. Stuck With You by Ali Hazelwood. I Feel Nothing. Actually, let's go Criminal. I didn't like it. Run on Red. Criminal. I remember it. Didn't like it. It was so dragged on. It was just really boring. I don't remember most of it, but I remember the plot. Dark Matter. I would say fun while it lasted. I could see the appeal. Felt like a Black Mirror episode, but just didn't really do it for me. Fourth Wing, solid but not crack. So freaking hyped up on everywhere that I expected a lot more, so I think I would have given it 5 stars if it wasn't like extremely hyped up before going into it. But I had a lot of fun reading it. I really liked it, and we'll probably continue the series this year at some point. Darling Venom. I would say I Feel Nothing. It was pretty dragged on. Don't remember most of it. Boring. The Prison Healer. I want to say Fun While It Lasted. Maybe Solid But Not Crack. I enjoyed it. I did. Um, yeah, let's leave it there. Normal People by Sally Rooney. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I felt nothing. I just don't think I'm that deep, to be honest with you. And I feel like a lot of people took this book in a really deep way, like they really connected with it. But me, I was just kind of like bored. But I could understand why people like it. I think it's just who I am as a person. It was just not it for me. The Summer I Turned Pretty. Fun While It Lasted. I loved that entire era of reading that series, and I do watch the show. That's probably the only like young adult series and romance that I really, really, really like. Don't quote me on that. I may be toxic for this, but I love a love triangle. I don't know. It's giving, Vampire Diaries, Twilight, all that good stuff. So love a two brother type of thing. Okay, Love and Gelato. This was the old me. Another YA romance. I don't remember most of it, but I did like the setting. The setting was fun. It took place in Paris, and so that was really fun to read and immerse myself in, but that was old me. The Gilded Age, Solid But Not Crack, also part of the Prison Healer trilogy, and I really enjoyed it. I had fun. Beach read, I will say Solid But Not Crack. I don't know, is that one YA romance? I can't remember if there was spice in it, but that one's fun. I mean, I love a good summer romance. I'm thinking of ending things was Fun While It Lasted. That book just like my brain was like, what the hell did I just read? But when I was reading it, I was like, I don't know, it's super freaking different, very dystopian, it gave me creepy vibes. I liked it. All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. This was the old me. Just fair warning, I did probably read like every Colleen Hoover book there is out there when I first started reading. Don't judge me. Okay, they're all probably gonna go in This Was the Old Me tier. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Honestly, I feel nothing. I don't really remember that much about it, but it also could go in Fun While It Lasted because I do remember reading it, but I'm gonna put it in I feel nothing because I don't remember enough to rank it correctly. The No Show, Criminal. Don't remember that much about it, but I do remember that I hated it. Okay, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Solid But Not Crack. I loved it. Loved the setting. Really cute romance. I thought it was fun. I thought it was solid. It's Not Summer Without You. Fun While It Lasted. I'll probably put the whole Summer I Turned Pretty series in this tier because it was really enjoyable. Again, loved that era. Things We Never Got Over. Criminal. I remember it was so hyped up on Book Talk, and I hated it. I'm here for a small town romance, but that one was just, and the books were like this thick, way too long for a small town romance. Okay, there is not that much you can talk about in a small town. Happy Place by Emily Henry. I'm gonna go ahead and put Fun While It Lasted. I didn't even think it was that solid, to be honest. I'm one of the few people that think that. I know everyone loved that book. I also just listened recently to a YouTube video, and they were saying that a lot of people who loved Happy Place are like older sisters, and I'm a younger sister, so maybe that's why I didn't like love it as much as others. The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. I feel nothing. I don't remember a single thing about it. Couldn't tell you what it's about. Funny Story by Emily Henry. Criminal. I DNF'd it. I am so sorry. In my defense, I was in a book slump, and I do plan to give it another try this month. Okay. The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Solid but not crack. Maybe even a 5-star, but since it's not totally sure, I'm going to put it in solid but not crack. But I love this book. I love Ali Hazelwood after reading this book. The chemistry, the spice, loved it. Nora Goes Off Script. I feel nothing. Couldn't tell you a single thing about that book or what it's about. The Last Party, same thing. Don't remember a single thing. I am so sorry. November 9th by Colleen Hoover. I honestly want to say Criminal. I feel nothing. I do remember it, and I do remember how much everyone loved it, and I was like, why did everyone like this? Even during my Colleen Hoover era, when I liked her books, even then I read it and I was like, this is not it. Reminders of Him, this was the old me. The Good Lie, I Feel Nothing, I don't remember anything about it. The Do-Over, I Feel Nothing. I remember it. It's literally like a cutesy little romance, and it's about a girl that relives the same day over and over and over again, specifically Valentine's Day, I think. But kind of boring. Tell Me Lies. This one I have some beef with because this one was so hyped up, and also this was when the first season came out that everyone was reading it and then watching the show and saying how good the show was. So I read the book, hated it, but I wanted to push through so that I could watch the TV show after. And then I watched the TV show after and hated that too. And I was like, y'all are lying. There is no way you're liking this. However, I am a little bit of a hypocrite because I am planning to rewatch it just so I can watch season 2 because I heard how good season 2 is. And I don't know why I'm trusting everyone again, but I am. And I think the reason I want to rewatch it as well is because I found out that the two main characters, the actor and the actress, are dating in real life. Yeah, I eat that up, so I plan to rewatch. Anyways, I'm going to put Criminal. I hated it. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Fun while it lasted. That's all I can say. I did not enjoy it as much as everyone else did, but I can see why you did enjoy it, if you did. And I probably would recommend it to other people. The Surrogate Mother, solid but not crack. I loved this Frida McFadden book. I thought it was a really fun thriller. It was a page turner, and I really enjoyed the entire thing. If you love thrillers, you would love The Surrogate. Better than the movies, I want to say... I'll say solid but not crack. This one was really fun and unique because it quoted all the rom-com movies, and I really enjoyed that aspect. And so that made it memorable and made it solid. Kill Switch by Penelope Douglas. Now me, I loved the Devil's Night series, okay? I'm gonna put this one in solid but not crack because I did love that series. I think this is Corrupt. I can't really see what the title is, but I think that's the cover of Corrupt. That was a 5-star read for me. 5 stars! A lot of people don't like the first one, but love the series and love the other books. I personally love the first one. I am a Michael stan. Okay, I'll say it. I think that was the series that introduced me to dark romance. Don't remember, don't quote me on that, but it was one of the first. People We Meet on Vacation. I'll say this was the old me, to be honest. I think I really liked it at the time, but if I reread it now, I probably would not love it, to be honest. We'll Always Have Summer. That's going in Fun While It Lasted, like the other 2 books. Confess by Colleen Hoover. This was the old me. I remember I liked it when I did read it, but again, that was past me. Layla by Colleen Hoover, fun while it lasted. I remember I gave this a 5 stars at the time. I probably definitely wouldn't now, but I really, really, really loved it and think it's only good if you read it going in blind. It's not good if you read the synopsis before, okay? Kingdom of Ash? Would sell my soul to read for the first time again. Would sell it. Sign it off. Here you go. Give me that book to read for the first time again, okay? I could literally throw up talking about it right now. If you don't know, that is part of the Throne of Glass series. It is actually the last book, and just really, really pulled my heart out of my chest. I'm gonna shut up because I could literally go on and on and on about that series, okay? No One Can Hear You Scream. I will say I Feel Nothing. I honestly don't remember that book, and I just read it last year, I think. Oh my god, Into the Dark, Magnolia Parks. God tier. That entire series is God tier for me. This is specifically the most recent book of the series, meaning the last Magnolia Parks book, and that is probably one of the 3 books I've ever read that made me actually sob tears. I was sitting at my desk reading it, tears flowing down my face. Oh my god, I have like that book so insanely annotated. I loved it. I don't know how Jessa Hastings was able to meet the expectations that we had as readers for Magnolia and BJ's love story, but she did. She met them and she exceeded them. Would sell my soul to read that for the first time again. Meet Me in London, Criminal. I don't remember it that much, but I do remember when I read it, I was pissed because of how bad it was. As Good as Dead, fun while it lasted. This is a fun YA mystery thriller series, the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and I remember I really enjoyed it when I was reading it, but honestly, I couldn't tell you on like what each book was about now. It's been a while, I can't remember everything. Hot House Flower, I'm gonna do solid but not crack. I love Reich and Daisy in the Addicted Calloway Sister series. Crown of Midnight. Okay, I can't get it up there. Hold on. Would Sell My Soul. Would Sell My Soul to read for the first time again. I was gagged at the end of that book. I remember reading it and my jaw was like, it was one of those moments. I was literally the meme going like, so good. One of the best plot twists in book history. Oh, so freaking good. Okay, The Kind Worth Killing. I Feel Nothing. I honestly don't remember it that much, but just didn't like it. Anyways, 50 Shades Darker. Oh my god, the 50 Shades of Grey series. 5-star. 5-star series. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The 50 Shades of Grey series needs to make its comeback, especially with dark romance being so popular. I know everyone read it like back then, but it needs to come back because I read it for the first time, I think last year or the year before that, and the banter in that book is top tier. Like seriously, like one of the top 5 books I've read that has such good banter. And obviously the spice is so good and it just really deserves more hype nowadays. So 5 stars. House of Sky and Breath. Ooh, I think I might have given this one 5 stars. Yeah, I gave this one 5 stars because of that ending. If you know, you know. The ending of that book was just like, it's like, it felt like a dream. It's like something you would love and would really want to happen in these authors' books, but you don't think is actually gonna happen and would ever, especially in fantasy. I don't know. If you know, you know. That ending went so hard. Okay, Without Merit by Colleen Hoover. This was the old me. Ricochet, part of the Addicted Calloway Sister series. Solid but not crack. Thrive was also solid but not crack. Some Kind of Perfect. Probably, honestly, 5 stars back then. Don't know if it would be now. Solid but not crack. It Starts With Us. This was the old me. Yeah. That book was so unnecessary. Honestly, we did not need that. One of Us Is Next. Fun while it lasted. This duology was a fun mystery thriller, and it really reminded me of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. That same vibe. Ooh, Mary Jane. I think this was a 5 stars, but I kind of want to give it solid but not crack. This was a coming of age story, and normally I don't care for those books, but I really, really enjoyed that one. Magnolia Parks. I mean, do you even know me? Enough said. Not even gonna elaborate. By a Thread, Criminal. This is the second book I read by Lucy Score. I hated the first book I read by her, and then this just solidified I don't think I'm a Lucy Score girly. Kiss the Sky. Solid. Solid but not crack. Love, love, love Connor Cobalt and Rose. Top tier book couple. Funny You Should Ask. I feel... Oh, shit. Funny You Should Ask. I Feel Nothing. I don't remember a single thing about this book. Haunting Adeline. I would say solid but not crack. I think that was also one of the first dark romances I had ever read, and it really solidified my love for dark romance. The Coworker by Frida McFadden. I Feel Nothing. I don't really remember the plot of that book. The One by John Mars. Ooh, solid. Solid but not crack. I love that book. I always explain it as a Black Mirror episode. The concept was so freaking cool and so fun. I recommend that book to pretty much everyone and anyone. Yeah, solid. Fuel the Fire. Solid. The Last Thing He Told Me. I Feel Nothing. I don't remember a single thing. The Housemaid's Secret. I think this was fun while it lasted. A Court of Frost and Starlight. I would say 5 stars. Not in the God, where did it go? Okay. Not in the God tier list, but it's part of ACOTAR. How can you give any book in that series less than that 5-star? Okay. Criminal. The Score, I feel nothing. That entire off-campus series, I feel nothing for, to be honest. I was like really expecting to love it because a lot of other people do, but I think that's the second or third one. I don't even know. I just remember I read the first one and I was like, okay. Again, this is why I think I don't like sports romance, because read it and I was like, okay, that's fine. Maybe it gets better. Read the second one and I was like, okay, that felt just like the first one, but let me push through again. Maybe it'll get better. Read the third one and I was like, yeah, no. There, it feels like I'm reading the same exact thing over and over. So I feel nothing. On a Quiet Street, I feel nothing. I do remember the plot of this book, and I just didn't like it. Under One Roof was Criminal. Hated it. Ward D by Frida McFadden, I would say solid but not crack. Honestly, I think I only gave the book 3 stars, but the setting was so memorable and so immersive that I recommend it a lot, and I think it's a lot of fun. It's like in a psych ward, by the way, if you didn't know. The 7-Year Slip, fun while it lasted, definitely did not meet the hype in my opinion, but it was a really fun magical type of romance. Loved the magic aspect. It made it unique. The Passengers by John Mars, fun while it lasted. Would probably recommend depending who you are. Wasn't my favorite, but it was different, unique. The concept was super dystopian, and it also felt like a Black Mirror episode. So I feel like whenever something feels like a Black Mirror episode, it means it has a very distinct concept, and I love when things have a very unique idea. The Summer of Broken Rules. This was the old me. YA romance. Enough said. Forget Me Not. Oh, I feel nothing. I didn't really enjoy that book. Yeah. To be honest, I only read it because I got my book signed by the author, and the reason I got my book signed by the author was because I went to a book signing for Ali Hazelwood, and she was doing it with Julie Soto, who is the author of Forget Me Not. So got my book signed by her, listened to her talk about the book, and I was like, okay, sounds cute. Read it, and I was like, eh. A Court of Thorns and Roses. Where is that going? God tier. God tier, God tier, God tier, God tier. We'll never forget finishing that book and being like, my life will never be the same again. Like I've never felt this way in my life. Addicted to You, solid but not crack. The Addicted series will always hold a special place in my heart. The Found Family, those are real people to me, okay? They really are. They are real people that live in my head rent-free every day. Good Girl, Bad Blood, fun while it lasted. Once Upon a Broken Heart. Okay, so this one I wanted to love because everyone loved it. All of my trusted book talkers, booktubers really loved it, so I was really excited to read it. However, I didn't love it as much, and I think it was because I was already in a book slump. So I would love to give it another chance one day. I did love the fairy tale aspect and how whimsical it felt, but I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, basically. So I would say solid but not crack. What Lies Between Us, I feel nothing. Couldn't tell you a single thing. Also the same with Pretty Girls. No Exit was Criminal. I hated it, and I think it put me in a book slump. A Court of Wings and Ruin would sell my soul. I am a Nesta lover. I was one of the people that thought I would hate this book because I loved the first 4 books, and I was like, I do not want to read a whole entire book on my least favorite character. I'm gonna hate this. Read it, closed it, thanked Sarah J Maas again for proving me absolutely wrong, and would sell my soul to read it again. Never by Jessa Hastings. This is, a new addition to my 5-star reads, and I'm very happy about it. Cannot believe it took me that long to pick it up, but holy crap. Jessa Hastings has done it again. The House Across the Lake, solid but not crack. I loved that book by Riley Sager. I thought it was really fun, and that is definitely another one that you have to go in blind in order to enjoy it. The Bodyguard, I feel nothing. I remember it, but I didn't like it that much, but I didn't hate it enough to put it in the criminal tab. One Dark Window, solid but not crack. Loved that Shepherd King duet. That was a really fun dark academia fantasy series. Love Theoretically, solid but not crack. Probably close to 5 stars. I love Ellie Hazelwood's STEM romance books. The spice and the chemistry is just so good every time in those books. Malibu Rising was unpopular opinion, but I Feel Nothing. I remember everyone loved Malibu Rising at the same time as the whole Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo era, but personally did not enjoy Malibu Rising at all. Misery by Stephen King. Fun while it lasted. That was really fun. I loved the creepy setting of it and just the whole snowstorm. It was my first Stephen King book, so it was kind of my first impression of him. Definitely advanced writer, in my opinion, but it was very immersive and memorable, so fun while it lasted. None of This Is True was also fun while it lasted. Actually, I'll put it in solid, but not crack, because I really, really, really enjoyed it. I loved the podcast aspect of it. I think that's why it's so memorable to me. And so I would recommend it to a lot of people who like mystery thrillers. Every Summer After, I kind of want to say this was the old me. I remember reading it and really enjoying it, but also it was really, really, really parallel to Love in Other Words. Like, those are basically the same book, different characters. Same book, different font. House of Earth and Blood, solid but not crack. I will not put any Sarah J. Maas book under the first 3 tiers. I would just not do that to her, ever. And it was good. It was just really different from, ACOTAR and Throne of Glass. I think it just took so much brain power and there was so much info dumping in that first book, but so worth it. I will read Sarah J. Maas's grocery list. I will read anything she writes, so solid. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, again, fun while it lasted. 50 Shades Freed, solid but not crack. Oh my god, I love, love, love the 50 Shades books. Also, by the way, read the book and then watch the movies. Like, the adaptation is so on point, and that was really fun to watch. And Dakota Johnson, duh. The Only One Left is going in 5 stars. Amazing, amazing, amazing thriller. I am such a harsh critic when it comes to thrillers, and I don't think I've given that many books 5 stars in the thriller genre. So for that to go in the 5 stars, that's how you know it's good. That was a page turner. It had literally 20 plot twists at the end. The last 100 pages was every single page was a plot twist. It was so good. In 5 Years, I Feel Nothing. Don't remember it. I kind of want to reread it because I remember the concept was interesting, but I don't remember it. Queen of Shadows, 5 star. I think that was my first 5 star of the series when I was reading it. And that was when I was like, oh, okay, this series is getting juicy. Yeah, loved Queen of Shadows. It Happened One Summer. Criminal. I remember everyone loved that book. And I remember reading it and being like, why? Why did y'all do me like that? And I also remember that the whole 3rd act breakup was parallel to Gossip Girl when Chuck slept with Jenny when Blair didn't make it to the Eiffel Tower. That is the exact plot, basically, of what happened in that book. Don't read it, okay? Below Zero, Criminal. I didn't like that. Tower of Dawn, 5 stars, okay? 5 stars. If you tandem read Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms, you're gonna give it 5 stars. You're gonna be a Kale girly no matter how much you thought you hated him before. Tandem read and Tower of Dawn saves him. Okay, it's so good. I love it. The Blood Trader, I would say solid but not crack. That's part of the Prison Healer trilogy. His and Hers, I Feel Nothing. I don't remember it at all. It Ends With Us. Okay, I'm going to say solid but not crack. Okay, I'm gonna say it. This is obviously one of the first books I had read when I started reading again, and you gotta admit it's good. It really does give you a good perspective of just abusive relationships, and I did feel like Colleen did a good job with this book. Don't hate me for saying that, but I would recommend it. The Inheritance Games, fun while it lasted. I recommend that book a lot still. Short chapters, the concept, the idea, the plot was a lot of fun, and it actually was a good YA story. Two Twisted Crowns. That one's gonna go in 5 stars. I loved the Shepherd King duet books. It was so good. House of Flame and Shadow is going to go in solid but not crack. I think we all expected a lot more from the third Crescent City book and didn't necessarily get that, but it was still good. Still a good time. I liked it. Lock Every Door, I Feel Nothing. If you've been watching my videos, when I first made my TBR book cart in January, I actually put this book on the cart because that's how much I totally forgot that I read it. And then I was talking to my friend like a few weeks later after I made that video, and we started talking about that book because she had read it, and I was like, oh my god, I've read that book before. That is concerning that I literally forgot that I ever read that. Like, it did not even come to my head once when I put that on the cart. So anyways, Six of Crows. Oh my god, you have no idea how special this book is. I'm trying to think if I should put it in 5-star or would sell my soul to read for the first time again. I'm gonna put it in would sell my soul to read for the first time again. When I read that, that is the book that got me into fantasy, actually. So I remember that like actually changed my life. Not to be dramatic, but it really did. Yeah, I read it, and I remember going into it the first time. I picked it up and I started reading it, and I was like, oh my god, this is complex. I don't like fantasy. And then a few months later, I joined a book club on Discord, and everyone was so sweet and helpful in there. So people would like explain to you whenever you were confused about the world building and stuff. And so that's why I tried to read that book again, because I had all the book girlies help me. Shout out to Sarah Crowley's book club. And yeah, so I read it again and I pushed through, and all of them helped me understand it. And I loved it. Like, it literally changed my life. I remember finishing it and being like, oh my god. So that is why people like fantasy. Like, that is a whole different ballgame. Fantasy is like a whole different universe. I thought I loved reading before, but once I read Six of Crows and had a taste of fantasy, changed the game. Yeah, would sell my soul. Obviously, the way I'm describing it, that's god tier. Wait, am I okay? I literally talked about A Court of Wings and Ruin as if it was A Court of Silver Flames. Like, I don't know how I got those books confused in my head. That's embarrassing. Everything that I said about Nesta, that's what I was talking about for A Court of Silver Flames. So I guess now I'll talk about Wings and Ruin. The entire book was like the war, and I feel like that was literally a Marvel movie that I watched in my head, like a top tier Marvel movie. Oh my god, so good. Anyways, moving on. Long Way Down. Loved that book. That's gonna go in solid but not crack. Again, that's the Addicted Calloway Sister series. Addicted for Now, I think that one will go in fun while it lasted because it wasn't as good as the other books in that series, but I still had a great time because I will read about those characters all day, every day. Okay, wait, looking at my Goodreads reviews, because honestly I can't differentiate each book in the Addicted Calloway Sister series because there's too many, but I did rate Addicted for Now higher than Addicted to You. So I'm going to put Addicted for Now in solid but not crack, and then Addicted to You in fun while it lasted. The Perfect Marriage, criminal. Okay, I don't know anything about like laws and things like that, but all I know is that when I read it, I was like, there's no way this can be right. Like, I don't know anything about that stuff, but I knew there was no research done going into that book. Like, so bad, don't read it. The Patient, I Feel Nothing. Yeah. Birthday Girl, I Feel Nothing. I wouldn't say it was bad enough to be in the criminal tier. The whole age gap thing didn't really bother me. The plot just wasn't that good, to be honest. Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. This was the old me. The Hating Game was also the old me. I remember enjoying it at the time, but now I would probably give it like 2 or 3 stars thinking about it. I think this is Kill Switch. Again, I literally cannot see the title, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in fun while it lasted. Or actually, solid but not crack. I think the whole series would go in that, besides Corrupt, because that one was a 5-star. Love in Other Words, fun while it lasted. I wouldn't put it higher than that. Actually, let's go solid but not crack. Yeah. No, let's go Fun While It Lasted. I do think it's pretty hyped up for what it is. I think if you love YA romance, then you'll really love that one. But if not, then it's not as good as everyone says it is. But it was really good. So I would say read it. I would recommend it. Is this book? Is this Icebreaker? Oh no, this is The Mistake. So let's go I Feel Nothing because I didn't like the, what is it called? The Off-Campus series. I talked about it earlier. That's part of that. A Court of Mist and Fury. That book literally makes me sing. Deserves a round of applause. If you know, you know. You know how bad I want to just sit here and talk about this book right now, but like I'm already an hour in at this point, so we need to keep it going. But that book alone changed my entire life. Rhysand. He makes me sing, okay? He makes me literally just speechless. He makes me speechless. Okay, The Assassin's Blade. Okay, that one, 5 stars. I remember going into the Throne of Glass series, I did not know if I should read this first, before Throne of Glass, or I think it's what, 3rd or 4th. It's a whole controversy on what order you should read it in, and I did read it 3rd or 4th. I can't remember which way it's supposed to go, but let's just say I didn't read it as the first book in the series, like a lot of people recommend. And honestly, I kind of regret doing that. Like, I would recommend reading The Assassin's Blade before Throne of Glass. However, Sarah J. Maas herself did say to read it 3rd or 4th, whatever it is. Oh my god, I love that book so much. Sam broke my heart. And I just feel like it gives so much insight into our main character, let's just say. And it just does a lot. It does a lot for the story. I love that book. Stinger by Mia Sheridan. Criminal. Hated it. It was the first book that I've ever DNF'd. That's how much I disliked it. The Last Word. Criminal. Hated it. If you know, the plot is about someone who gives a book 1 star and the author comes after her. So it's very ironic that I give this book 1 star. Daisy Hates. I mean, come on. God tier. Okay? God tier. Julian Hates. Number 1 book boyfriend in the entire world. Let's just say that. Little Stranger. I gave this book 2 stars. However, I'm gonna put it in Fun While It Lasted. I know we're side-eyeing each other right now if you know what this book is about. But then also if you know what this book is about, then I'm also side-eyeing you. It's like, yeah, we know. Let's just say this book went insanely viral on TikTok and it was super controversial because of the whole sister adopted bro thing. However, I did need to find out for myself what the talk was about. And I will say, like, the whole kind of plot and idea of it didn't bother me that much, to be honest. The spice was super, super good, but that's all it was. Like, I didn't feel like there was any plot to it. Like, there was no chemistry, there was nothing, but the spice was really good, and that's why I say Fun While It Lasted. But I did give it 2 stars. One of Us is Lying. Again, Fun While It Lasted. Would recommend if you like YA, thriller, and mystery. An Ember in the Ashes. I read this one during a book slump, so I feel like it would be rated higher if it were not the case that I was in a book slump. But since I was, I'm gonna put Fun While It Lasted. Actually, solid but not crack. Yeah. Never Lie by Frida McFadden. This is going in solid but not crack. One of my favorite Frida McFadden books, but not a 5-star read. One by One, I Feel Nothing. That one was... Any Frida McFadden book is a page turner and you're gonna have fun and you're gonna read it in one sitting probably. but not all of them are the best. That one was one of the ones that are not the best. Fire Night was fun while it lasted. Not one of my favorites in the Devil's Night series, but fun while it lasted. Every Last Secret, I Feel Nothing. I don't remember a single thing about it, to be honest. The Ballad of Never After. This is also going to go in solid but not crack. Okay, so yeah, I already talked about this series and what it did for me. So I probably will give it another chance and reread it at some point when I'm not in a book slump and see if I like it more. And since there's a third book that I haven't read, yeah, I'll probably do that at some point. Before We Were Strangers, solid but not crack. I loved this book and I think it's a really good underrated romance. Not 5 stars, but very close. Alone with You in the Ether. Guys, I'm so sorry. Criminal. Again, I'm just not a deep person and I think this is more for like poetic people who love beautiful writing, and I don't know, I'm just not that deep, and so for me it was like really boring, but I could understand why someone would love it because I remember this book being extremely, extremely popular. Rock, Paper, Scissors. I want to say solid but not crack. That one was fun. I remember reading that. The setting was all like a snowstorm and it was really creepy. And I remember reading and like actually being creeped out. And I love when a book can make me feel anything, even if it is creeped out. And I remember the ending being like a really fun kind of plot twist. I don't remember why I didn't give it 5 stars. Maybe it just didn't have that 5-star feeling, but I loved it. Conclave was a 5-star. That was a novella in the Devil's Night series, and that was just a really fun extra spice we got. Nightfall, I will say fun while it lasted. I don't think it was super solid, but it was fun. Love on the Brain was solid but not crack. Ali Hazelwood is queen. When in Rome, Criminal, hated it. I don't think I like Sarah Adams books. The Mindfuck series, oh my gosh. Let's do solid but not crack. I kind of want to give it 5 stars, but let's do solid but not crack. Such a fun, good, dark romance. If you don't know, the girl is a serial killer and the love interest is a detective. So good. Regretting You is The Old Me, Colleen Hoover. I think I made this tier literally for Colleen Hoover books, to be honest. Oh my god, The Long Way Home in the Magnolia Park series? God tier. Oh my god. We need the next Daisy Hates book, okay? We need to know what the hell happened after that last page. I'm actually so sick that we did not get any answers in Into the Dark, but I know she's just saving all that juice for the next Daisy Hates book, and I just pray every day for her to release that soon. Yeah, Into the Dark solidified Julian Hates as my #1 book boyfriend ever. That is the book that, like, whenever I recommend people to read the Magnolia Park's Daisy Hate series, I'm like, just wait until The Long Way Home. Just wait. That is the best book. A Flicker in the Dark, I Feel Nothing. I remember I read it and didn't like it, but I don't remember enough to put it in the criminal tier. The Housemaid. The Housemaid is 5 stars. I remember reading that and being so excited because, like I said, I rarely give thrillers 5 stars, and I remember it really gave me like the vibe of Verity by Colleen Hoover, and I love that. I always recommend The Housemaid, and I cannot wait for the movie. Heir of Fire was solid but not crack. I think that one's a little controversial because everyone loves Rowan in that book, but it wasn't as good as the other books for me personally, but still so freaking good. It was literally like 4.5 stars probably. The Inmate by Frida McFadden. I'll say fun while it lasted. Yeah. Kind of feel nothing, but I feel a little something, so fun while it lasted. Heartless by Elsie Silver. I think that one's gonna go in solid but not crack. I enjoyed this one more than the first one, and I thought it was cute. It was fun. Yeah, it was solid. I would recommend it if you like cowboy romance. The Deal, yeah, I feel nothing. Not elaborating on that again. Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, solid but not crack. Close to 5 stars. not close to 5 stars. Let me take that back. But it was really fun. It was different, and it definitely made me feel. Okay, it made me feel, and that's all I can ask for. 50 Shades of Grey. Solid but not crack. We Were Liars. I feel nothing. I remember when it was really popular, I read it and also questioned book talk once again. Tender is the Flesh. Criminal. I read it. I was so intrigued by the fact that it was about cannibalism, but it didn't do it for me. It was boring. Ugly Love. This Was the Old Me. Empire of Storms. Yeah, that was one of those. Remember earlier when I said Into the Dark is one of the 3 books that had me like sitting there and sobbing my eyes out? Empire of Storms was also another book in that list. I was literally crying. That book really, really did it for me. Crooked Kingdom, the second book in the Six of Crows duology, was 5 stars. Loved, loved, loved. I personally liked Six of Crows just a little bit more, but Crooked Kingdom was also 5 stars. The Storied Life of A.J. Thickery is going to be solid but not crack. If you watch my recent video, then you know my full thoughts on that. Tomorrow, and Tomorrow, I personally feel nothing. Yeah, that was another one that a lot of people loved, but it was another coming of age story, but that one didn't do it for me that much. The Silent Patient, fun while it lasted. I could see the appeal. I can see why everyone loved that thriller, but it wasn't as good as other thrillers in my opinion. In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife. I honestly don't remember that much about this book, but I'm gonna put it in fun while it lasted because I remember really, really, really loving the characters and the character building, and I think it was found family, don't quote me on that, but it was a fun thriller, so I think I would recommend it. Too Late by Colleen Hoover. I kind of also want to say fun while it lasted instead of This Was the Old Me, only because this was really different to Colleen Hoover's regular books. I'm pretty sure she didn't even like publish this. It was more like a mafia type romance, and so that was really fun, and I think it's fun. If you like Colleen Hoover, like I would recommend this. Hidden Pictures. This one was solid but not crack, and honestly, I do not read horror at all. I think this was one of the only or one of the few horrors I've ever read, and so that's why I loved it so much, because I read and I was like really scared and really creeped out by it, and so the fact that it could actually make me feel scared made me really love it. So Flawless, I would say fun while it lasted. I gave it like a 3 stars. This was my first cowboy romance and obviously the first book in the Chestnut Spring series, and I had fun. Hawthorne Legacy is going to go in fun while it lasted. This is the second book in the Inheritance Games trilogy. Okay, this is going to be controversial, but Verity by Colleen Hoover, 5 stars. That is the book that got me into reading again, and so maybe it just has a special place in my heart. Maybe I'm a little biased, but you can't say that book isn't good. That is like the only book I've ever read that actually gave me jump scares. Like, you know, the scene of her at the top of the stairs, the scene of her and the baby monitor. That was creepy. I loved it, and I love the whole conversation about team manuscript or team letter. I just love that that's like a conversation. It's just so much fun. Cannot wait for the movie. Daisy Jones and the Six is going in 5 stars. Loved that book. That was the first Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I really loved. The fact that it was a interview style format in the book made it so much fun to read, and it made it a page turner. Also, the ending was a plot twist and so unnecessary, but the fact that that was even in there gave it a 5 star for me. Throne of Glass is going to go in the 5 star section. I don't think I put a single book in the Throne of Glass series under this tier because it doesn't deserve that. That's literally one of the best series of my life. Divine Rivals, let's go with fun while it lasted. Yeah, didn't meet the hype for me, but I liked it. The Roughest Draft is solid but not crack. This is such an underrated, under-talked about romance book. It's literally written by a couple, and the book is about a couple. The whole thing is just full circle, so much fun, and you need to read it if you... Okay, my camera literally died before I did the last book, so had to charge it real quick. But the last book being Daisy Hates The Great Undoing. What a way to end this tier list. Oh my god, there's so many books. It's taking me forever to get it to the top, but God tier. If you've literally listened to me a single time or watched a single one of my videos, I probably mentioned the Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hate series, and you know that that series is literally everything to me. Anyways, that was so much fun. I'm honestly exhausted. My throat is so dry from talking so much. I literally just ranked 175 books. So, but it was literally so much fun. Thank you so much for listening to me sit here and yap about books for over an hour. I hope it gave you a little bit of an idea of my book taste. But that's gonna be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you again in the next one. Bye!